Welcome everybody to Rabbi Story Time. Most of you know me as Mr. Phil. I'm not a rabbi, but the word rabbi comes from the Hebrew word rabbi, meaning my teacher. So today it is my honor to be your teacher. Today we'll be reading the book, The Shema in the Mezuzah, Listening to Each Other, by Rabbi Sandy Eisenberg Sasso, illustrated by Joni Keller Rothenberg. Let's get started. Annie's grandmother had just moved into a new home. Annie was glad all the boxes were unpacked. Now her grandmother would have time to bake her favorite chocolate chip cookies. That sounds good. Can we bake now? Annie asked expectantly. Not just yet, her grandmother smiled. There is still one more box to open. Annie's grandmother carefully opened a small package that Annie recognized right away. That's the mezuzah. We have one on the doorpost of our home, Annie exclaimed. My mom told me that inside is a special prayer, and on it are very important words, the words of the Shema. Shema Yisrael. Listen, Israel, the eternal our God, the eternal is one. Speak these words when you go out and when you come in, when you lie down and when you rise up. Annie watched as her grandmother said a blessing and put up the mezuzah on the doorway. Grandma, why doesn't the mezuzah stand up straight or lie down flat? Annie asked. Why does the mezuzah look like it's leaning to one side? It's the same way at my home. Her grandmother smiled. Let me tell you a story, she said. Once there was a town where many people had mezuzahs, but no one knew how to put them up. Perhaps there are instructions inside the mezuzah, the townspeople thought. They looked at the special paper inside the mezuzah. It contained words from the Torah, but no instructions on how to put the mezuzah on the doorpost. Half the people said, we should put the mezuzah standing up, since the words tell us the Shema. The words tell us to say the Shema when we get up in the morning. Half the people insisted the mezuzah should be lying down. These words tell us to say the Shema when we lie down at night. Neither side wanted to listen to the other. They just argued and kept shouting and shouting. One side screamed, standing up. The other side shrieked, lying down. Standing up, lying down. Standing up, lying down. They kept yelling. The two sides yelled and yelled. They argued all through the day. They argued all through the night. Standing up, lying down. What were the people to do? They decided to ask the rabbi of the town. The rabbi turned his head to one side and listened. The rabbi turned his head to the other side and listened. He turned to look at the buildings in the town. None of them had a mezuzah on the doorway. What are we to do? The townspeople asked the rabbi. Shall we put the mezuzah standing up or lying down? To the people who believed that the mezuzah should be standing up, the rabbi said, you are right. To the people who believed that the mezuzah should be lying down, the rabbi said, you are right. The townspeople were puzzled. Rabbi, how can we all be right? We can't have the mezuzah standing up and lying down at the same time. The rabbi smiled. You are right again. Very funny, Rabbi, both sides agreed. But the rabbi wasn't laughing. You haven't read the instructions very carefully. The first word on the mezuzah special paper, listen, Shema. Listen to one another. You must put the mezuzah on the doorway so that it is standing up a little and lying down a little. The people who wanted the mezuzah standing up listened to the people who wanted lying down. And they said, well, if we slant the mezuzah, it will almost be standing up. The people who wanted the mezuzah lying down listened to the people who wanted it standing up and said, well, if we slant the mezuzah, it will almost be lying down. Both sides liked the rabbi's idea. The people stopped shouting. They stopped arguing. They stopped yelling. They listened.